Whispers began to circulate in the digital ether. Amazon, the e-commerce giant, was rumored to be halting its US production. Such a development, if true, would impact countless jobs and supply chains. The source of these claims appeared dubious. Investigations pointed towards online channels known for disseminating uncorroborated information. Specifically, certain YouTube channels with a history of promoting false narratives were implicated. The lack of confirmation from credible news outlets or official Amazon statements further solidified the suspicion. Despite the questionable origins, the mere suggestion of Amazon scaling back US operations was enough to spark discussion. It tapped into existing anxieties about American manufacturing and economic stability. The potential implications were vast. Amazon's extensive network of fulfillment centers made any talk of a US retreat significant. The rumor served as a stark reminder of the interconnectedness of large corporations and national economic health. Donald Trump's approach to international trade has been a defining feature of his political identity. Central to this is the America First doctrine. This philosophy prioritizes American domestic industry and jobs above all else. Trump has consistently argued that the United States has been disadvantaged by unfair trade practices from other nations. This core belief has shaped his administration's trade policies significantly. Tariffs have been a primary instrument in Trump's America First arsenal. He views them as a powerful tool to pressure other countries and corporations. The goal is to compel them to change their trade practices or to relocate production to the United States. This strategy has been applied to a wide range of goods and countries, most notably China. The underlying assumption is that imposing tariffs will make imported goods more expensive, encouraging consumers and businesses to buy American-made products. This trade philosophy represents a significant departure from the post-World War II consensus. Despite criticisms, the America First approach resonates strongly with a segment of the American electorate concerned about economic decline and foreign competition. Throughout his presidency and beyond, Trump has rarely wavered from this central theme. This unwavering stance ensures that trade policy remains a highly charged and prominent issue in American political discourse. President Trump's tenure has been marked by direct and often public engagement with specific corporations. He has not shied away from using the bully pulpit of the presidency to influence corporate decision-making. Companies across various sectors, from automotive to technology, have found themselves in the presidential spotlight. Sometimes this attention comes in the form of praise for investing in the U.S., but often it involves criticism for decisions deemed contrary to American interests. Trump has often utilized social media platforms, especially Twitter, to communicate his views on corporate actions. A tweet could praise a company for a new factory announcement, or condemn another for planning to move production abroad. This direct line of communication has had a powerful impact. It can sway public opinion and in some cases put significant pressure on corporate executives. Companies have learned that their strategic decisions might become subject to presidential scrutiny at any moment. This creates a dynamic where corporate public relations and government relations become increasingly intertwined. Amazon itself has not been immune to presidential commentary. Apple Inc., one of the world's most valuable companies, has frequently been a focal point of President Trump's drive to reshore manufacturing. The iPhone, Apple's flagship product, is a global symbol of American innovation. However, the vast majority of its assembly takes place in China. This reliance on overseas manufacturing has made Apple a prime target for Trump's calls to bring production back to the United States. The primary lever used to exert pressure on Apple has been the threat of tariffs. Around May 2025, reports emerged that Trump was considering imposing a significant 25% tariff on iPhones not manufactured in the US. Such a tariff would have profound implications for Apple's business model. Analysts have consistently questioned the feasibility of Apple relocating its complex iPhone production ecosystem to the United States. Despite these practical challenges, the presidential pressure has remained. Apple has highlighted its contributions to the U.S. economy through job creation and investments in American suppliers. The rumor concerning Amazon halting U.S. production highlights a significant contemporary challenge: the proliferation of misinformation. In the digital age, unverified claims can spread with astonishing speed. Social media platforms and certain online channels can become breeding grounds for false narratives. These narratives are often designed to provoke strong emotional responses or to advance a particular agenda. The Amazon rumor, as research indicated, likely originated from such sources. Channels like AutoCentral and AutoEdge on YouTube have been identified as repeat offenders in this regard. The ease with which such misinformation can be created and disseminated poses a serious problem. It can influence public perception, affect market sentiment, and even incite unwarranted panic or anger. The consequences of such misinformation can be far-reaching. For the companies targeted, false rumors can damage their reputation and lead to unwarranted scrutiny. For investors, they can create artificial volatility in stock prices. For the public, they can erode trust in legitimate news sources. President Trump's assertive trade policies and the frequent threat of tariffs have introduced a significant degree of uncertainty into global markets. Financial markets, by their nature, dislike unpredictability. The prospect of sudden tariff impositions or escalating trade wars creates an environment where investors become more cautious. This caution can manifest in several ways, including stock market volatility, reduced investment in long-term projects, and shifts in capital flows. The period around May 2025 saw renewed concerns, with markets reacting nervously to fresh tariff threats aimed at major trading partners and corporations. For instance, when Trump reignited trade war fears with broadsides at Apple and the European Union in late May 2025, stock markets responded negatively. These reactions are not isolated incidents. Throughout Trump's presidency, similar announcements have often triggered market sell-offs. Investors worry about the impact of tariffs on corporate earnings, the disruption to global supply chains, and the potential for retaliatory measures from other countries. The impact extends beyond equity markets. The transatlantic trade relationship between the United States and the European Union, one of the largest economic partnerships in the world, has also come under strain due to President Trump's tariff-centric policies. Tensions escalated in May 2025 with renewed threats from the U.S. administration. Trump had initially proposed a potential 50% tariff on all EU imports, a move that would have had severe repercussions for numerous industries on both sides of the Atlantic. This aggressive stance reflects a broader effort to renegotiate terms of trade that the Trump administration views as unfavorable to American interests. Following high-level discussions, including a reported call between President Trump and European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, the deadline for these potential EU-wide tariffs was postponed. The original date of June 1, 2025, was pushed to July 9, 2025. This delay provided a temporary reprieve and a window for further negotiation. However, the underlying disagreements remained substantial. The U.S. reportedly insisted on a baseline tariff of 10% on industrial goods, even if the EU were to propose a zero-for-zero agreement. The European Union has not remained passive in the face of these threats. Reports indicated that the EU was preparing a substantial list of retaliatory tariffs. President Trump's tariff policies aim to protect American industry, but the impact on U.S. businesses and consumers is complex. Companies relying on imports face higher costs. They must absorb costs, raise prices, or find new suppliers. Consumers often bear the burden through higher prices. Small businesses are particularly vulnerable. Many sectors, like manufacturing and retail, voice concerns. Ford expects a $1.5 billion impact from tariffs by 2025. Even domestic companies are affected by trade disputes. Ultimately, tariffs lead to higher retail prices for consumers. President Trump's aggressive use of tariffs and preference for bilateral negotiations have reshaped global trade dynamics and U.S. policy. This period has challenged assumptions about free trade and global economic integration, raising questions about national economic security and the resilience of supply chains. These debates will influence policy for years, potentially leading to more economic nationalism and protectionism globally as countries adopt similar policies. This could fragment the global trading system with increased trade barriers and less multilateral cooperation. Businesses may need to adapt to a world where geopolitical considerations are crucial. The focus on reshoring manufacturing may lead to a reevaluation of industrial policy in the U.S. and other developed nations, making trade more politicized and economic relationships more transactional.